Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Hezzy Hustle. Today we're going to be taking a dive into the remarks at the Canada-U.S. Economic Summit. Hopefully you will get some good information in here, but I don't really know. It's currently 6:53 a.m. I was not expecting to make a video this early, but the summit happened quite early this morning, and I'm actually quite busy later today. The Vernon Winter Carnival's starting, so if any of you are watching and wanting to find something to do over the next week and a bit, Winter Carnival's got you covered. Trust me, we're lighting up the balloons tonight. Big hot air balloons, so it'll be good fun time in the good old city of Vernon. So in the meantime here, let's for those of you who don't know, my name is Tyler Heisman. I am a licensed realtor here in the Okanagan with Oakland Realty and the Heisman Group. Just another concerned citizen looking to help people navigate this crazy world that we're going through, hopefully with the intent to help you in the housing market at some point in time. So yeah, for now, let's get into this one and see what is going on. Oh, it's Trudy boy. It's really quiet.
Good morning, bonjour. Bienvenue à Toronto. Prime Minister, thank you for your tremendous leadership. You've been a friend of Toronto, and we've celebrated a lot of successes together. Building more housing faster, feeding more kids, and investing in public transit to get Toronto moving. And that goes to prove that we are stronger when we come together. And here today, I look around, look at us. It is leaders from business and labor and trade, government, all coming together as proud Canadians. Yes, proud Canadians. United together to face the threat of this senseless U.S. trade action. And yes,
We know it's senseless and we know it's stupid, but we need to stop having such an emotional attachment to the relationship and just talk strictly about solutions. Stop trying to emotionalize it and stop trying to divvy people up based off of why it's happening or who is doing it. That's just my take.
we are ready. It's my honor to welcome all of you here to Toronto. Hardworking Canadians are saying they're worried, they're anxious. They're worried about what impact it will have on their jobs, whether their lives will be a bit less affordable, right? But I know all of you leaders have their backs. That's what Canadians know to do, because that's who we are, supporting each other, caring for each other, protecting and defending our industry, creating good jobs. And coming Saturday, the February 15th, it is the Canada Flag Day. And Nathan Phillips Square at 10 o'clock, we're going to raise a flag almost the size, maybe even bigger. So come on down. If those of you that are in town at 10 o'clock, we'll wear red and white and show that we are proud Canadians. Canadians are looking forward to your deliberation today and the results of it as you plot the path forward to long-term prosperity and economic self-reliance. As proud members of Team Canada, we are ready. Let us welcome, well, already on the stage, let's welcome our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Thanks, Olivia. Thank you for your welcome here to Toronto. But mostly thank you, all of you, for coming together in this moment. This is a moment. This is a time in our country's history, in our time in our economic, but also our life as a country, that really, really matters. And I want to thank every one of you for being here. I want to particularly recognize this incredible council that we've gathered, that we've been working with very, very closely over the past number of weeks. But one of the challenges we've had with this council is keeping it small enough so that we can have genuine engagement with top leaders from across the country, from different industries, but the idea that we'd love to have hundreds of people on the council, and that's exactly what this morning is all about. Each and every one of you being part of Team Canada right now to contribute and to help shape the conversations that Canadians are having right across the country. C'est un moment maintenant pour nous de se rassembler et de réfléchir et de façon tactique et de façon stratégique à Canadian in their stepping up over the past few weeks, sharing lists of how they can buy Canadian in their everyday lives. Reflecting on where they want to spend their dollars on vacation, whether it's Cape Breton or Banff or Quebec City. Thinking about how they can contribute as workers, as business leaders, as individuals to moving Canada forward in all the ways that matters. And individual Canadians, whether it's leaders on the council like Wes Hall, Arlene Dickinson, Jean Charest, or others, stepping up to talk about this moment of pride in Canada and how we can pull together and take on this challenge and the opportunity that comes with it. And that's why gathering all of you here today to reflect on that, to pull together, and to chart a path forward for this country is so incredibly important, because this is Team Canada at its very best. Thank you for being here. As I said, I think we need to do two things in this. We need to both start thinking tactically and strategically. On the tactical side, we need to talk about tariffs. The 30 days extension been given on the border or fentanyl tariffs is something we need to use. We need to be very deliberate about how we continue to engage closely with the United States to make the case and demonstrate that Canada is responsible for a tiny part of the North American fentanyl problem, but that we are also...
It could very well have to do with our catch and release policy towards criminals and the safe supply and that type of thing. The super labs, there's more fentanyl in one super lab to kill 2 of our entire countries. There is a 0% chance that our market is not completely saturated with fentanyl, which means that we're now going to be a source for other countries. So maybe they're just not catching us, and we're actually putting in a lot more than what they think.
So bitterly touched by this tragedy. We also want to be part of solving for this, and over the next 30 days we will demonstrate that even the tiny amount that is Canada's responsibility into the United States is going to reduce even further by working together, not just across our border, but internationally as well, to make sure that there is no reason to move forward with those tariffs 30 days from now. And that is a priority. But also tactically, if those tariffs do end up coming in, or if the investigation into commerce tariffs that are scheduled for...
I would urge everyone to go and take a look at the video that I posted the other day, kind of breaking down how the tariffs will potentially, Jesus, sorry, hiccuping, potentially affect the housing market and housing prices. And God, I really hope we don't retaliate. It's just not a good move. It hurts us more.
April, move forward. We need to be ready to respond robustly as we are. We also have to be ready to support Canadians through the responses we're giving and through a difficult time of tariffs. That's something we have to talk about. But we have to keep in mind that our goal will always be to get those tariffs lifted as quickly as possible. That's the approach we have to have tactically around tariffs, that is focused on demonstrating the depth of the relationship, demonstrating that we can solve the challenges they're facing, but also make sure we're protecting Canadians and moving forward.
Protecting Canadians and moving forward is diversifying our trade partnerships and allowing people to build their companies, their corporations, and their empires in Canada. So that means it's time to cut some taxes.
Alors, de façon tactique, oui, il faut qu'on se concentre sur les tarifs. But how we get through this particular challenge over the next 30 days or few months, but how we get through and thrive and grow stronger over the next 4 years and into what may be a more challenging long-term political situation with the United States. How do we make sure we are resilient as an economy? And for me, there's 3 areas we need to think about: Canada, the United States, and international. First of all, on Canada, it's about time we had genuine free trade within Canada. Vous le savez tous, il existe encore beaucoup trop de barrières à notre commerce interne d'un bout à l'autre de ce pays. La ministre Anand vient de rassembler les différents ministres du commerce des différentes provinces et territoires pour, après des décennies d'efforts par plein de gouvernements, réellement saisir l'opportunité qu'on a. Now, internal trade is something that we've been talking about, and quite frankly, the business community has been talking about for decades, as we have to move forward on it. This is one of those moments and opportunities where we actually can. There's a window open because of the context we're in. We have to jump through it. And it's not just about political will, because I can tell you all the premiers are united.
So, from my understanding is that there are barriers due to provincial regulations, licensing requirements, and protectionist policies. So I believe if there's like BC oil companies, they can't get output by the Alberta oil companies, or, different alcohol brewers and stuff like that might be sending their stuff to a different province that might not have the same regulations. Like, I guess there's a lot of these types of things, different provincial regulations. Each province has their own set of rules, even through CFTA, because there is a Canadian Free Trade Agreement, but in reality many barriers still exist. Professional licensing and certification issues. So many professions, lawyers, etc., require new licenses when moving to a different province. This is the same with a lot of stuff. Like tradesmen, for example, once you pass your 4th year in BC, like I would be considered a certified electrician in only BC, but then you have your interprovincial exam, which is a cross-country exam that you have to pass that's just separate from your BC related training institute, and then that would allow you to then be a licensed electrician or tradesman in the rest of the country. But there's an extra step to making that happen. Alcohol, agriculture, trade restrictions. So provincials control their own liquor distribution, own agricultural supply management, protectionist policies. So some provinces favor local businesses and stuff like that, which would make sense because you don't want to take jobs away. Quebec is probably one of the biggest ones, has strict rules because they don't want outside people in their province. They want to be their own country. Transportation and logistics, historical and political factors, the economic impact. Studies suggest that removing the interprovincial trade lines can boost our economy by tens of billions of dollars annually. The Business Council of Canada estimates that eliminating these barriers could raise our GDP up to 4%. Wow. what are we doing? We need to seriously look at this. The federal government has been pushing for more interprovincial trade agreements, but the progress is slow. Some provinces have made mutual recognition deals, Alberta, Saskatchewan on trucking rules, and the more harmonized more harmonization of regulations and automatic recognition of professional credentials. That would be the most important part, because if people get licensed in one province, that should not prevent them from being licensed in any other province in Canada. Like, we can come to the conclusion that we train our people pretty good across the board here. So, yeah, there you go.
And saying, yes, let's do it. But there's challenges within bureaucracies that say, oh, but it'll be hard to recognize teaching certificates from one quarter of the country versus another. It'll be hard to get proper labor mobility, or there's a reason we have a specific tire requirement on our trucks for our province, or a specific need for a first aid kit.
Which is fully understandable. Like, in certain places like Alberta and Saskatchewan, like the rest of Canada doesn't get as cold. And not that type of cold. And it's super flat, super windy. There should be transportation requirements and stuff like that. That is fine, but those need to be established to allow people to still have the option.
In those trucks that differs from one place to the other. A lot of barriers that just don't make sense. But it's going to require all of us, not just governments, but business leaders as well, to step up and push hard and make sure that in this moment, we actually move forward on free trade within Canada.
You know, if they were to be doing this a few years ago, instead of trying to live the first world delusion that our economy will never fail and Canada can just keep printing money and we can just keep helping everybody and just keep doing what we're doing without any consequences, then these guys would be a lot farther ahead in the polls, because all of this makes total sense. And I would assume all this is going to also happen under Conservative leadership, but it's just really, really hard for people to turn around and try to trust the same guys that have been pretty much anti-business, anti-production in Canada.
That'll make us more efficient, more competitive, and give greater opportunities for Canadians, and not just individual Canadians, but businesses and suppliers to do business across Canada, east-west, and not just north-south, that has always been easy and default.
And we need a Trans-Canada pipeline.
Until this point. So that's something I'm going to need all of your help on to push. Secondly, trade with the U.S. Now, there's a lot of talk about diversification. We'll get to that as well. But let's face some facts here. We are Canada. Geography means we're always going to both benefit and be challenged by trade with the United States. It's always going to be a big chunk of our economy. Can we be deliberate and strategic about where we're creating deeper partnerships that make sense, where we're looking at whether it's critical minerals that are going to be so essential for the future and that international suppliers are a little more unreliable on, certain countries are unreliable on, whether it's moving forward on energy and deepening our energy links in a positive way that actually solidifies those ties and makes them less vulnerable to the vagaries of politics. Can we be thoughtful and deliberate about the kinds of partnerships that enhance and create true win-wins, but also give us a little more protection against political rhetoric in the United States? These are things we can deliberately look at, that we are looking at, and certainly Minister Champagne is there engaging with that.
I'm just saying, if you're that guy in the front row that just raised your phone, what is this? That is the worst photo ever. I guarantee you that looks like crap. Why would you even try?
Mr. Wilkinson on energy and critical minerals. There's a lot of conversations happening that says, okay, we're always going to be trading with the United States. Can we make sure we're doing it from a position of strength and solidity and protect ourselves for the long term? Mais le troisième élément, bien sûr, c'est plus de commerce à l'international. South American and the incredible trade deals that Canada has signed, most of them over the past 9 years, with two-thirds of the global economy.
Just got to give himself a little pat on the back there.
from CPTPP with Asian, South American, and one European country, with the UK joining the CPTPP.
What the fuck is that? Oh.
Have a tremendous opportunity to go where a big center of gravity of the economy is being pulled, but it's not enough to just sign a trade deal. We have to actually then follow up on it with trade missions, with actual investments, with partnerships, and that's why Mary Ying, our trade minister, who's not here today, is on her way. She's right now at the WTO in Geneva, and she's on her way to Australia and Asia to engage even further on another trade mission. We need to follow up on that. We have a free trade deal with Europe that has seen opportunities grow significantly over the past years, but can we do even more? Can we look at diversifying our supply chains so that we do have those opportunities internationally as well? You know, can we look at new markets that we're opening up? There's so many different opportunities and challenges we can get.
We need to go nuclear. That is my opinion. You can disagree with it if you want, but we need to go nuclear. We have the space and we have the, essentially the refrigeration, the natural refrigeration system that we would need to do it.
That there is a moment.
Seclusion, land, you know, there's a lot of place, like northern Alberta, you know, Northwest Territories, those types of areas. There's just land and land and land that we could potentially zone for, not for the plan for a catastrophic disaster or whatever, but if you were to take into consideration Chernobyl and all those historical disasters, and you take the kind of area affected and utilize the landmass that we have, like we could potentially, you know, make sure that there's no no disaster within the vicinity where no people could get harmed or whatever, right? Like, I don't know exactly the word that I'm trying to use, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Right now that we all should be talking about. So what we're going to do this morning is we'll do a little bit of Q&A with the council that I will facilitate, and I'll answer a few questions from you guys as well. Then we're going to go and pull together in different groups to talk about sectoral impacts, to talk about Team Canada, so we can draw on your ideas and come together with even more plans and more solutions.
It sounds like we'll
for
have
how we move forward as
a part
country.
two
Because
to this.
Canadians are watching right now. They're watching to see that our leadership collectively is able to meet this moment, is able to step up, is able to
we are watching like a hawk.
Be there to say,
this is your last chance to keep people from jumping off the fence, because a lot of people are fence sitting between just the NDP and the Liberals and the Conservatives and the Liberals. Like the biggest poll jump that happened for the Liberals over the last little bit has not been from people leaving the Conservative side and moving back to the Liberal side. A lot of those people, they're gone. Like, you're not getting them back this voting term. Maybe next time around if the Conservatives don't do what they say they're going to do. But a lot of these people, they're staying on the right side a little bit more this time around because they just don't trust it. So a lot of people are just happy to see what the Liberals are doing, so they're coming back from the NDP, because a lot of these people are just anybody but conservative type of mentality, which I don't quite understand. But that's turning into more of a Liberal or NDP thing. So if you're jag meat, you ain't happy.
this is Canada, we got this, and this is how we're going to do it. That's what Canadians want. That's what Canadians are counting on, and that's what I know we are all here to do, all committed to building. So thank you all very much for being here. Merci beaucoup. On se met au travail.
Well, that's it. So we'll have to come back and make a part 2 at some point. But yeah, that's Trudy Boy addressing the nation and telling them that they're going to do something about this. They're going to come up with a solution. So hope to see that happening. And in almost 3 weeks' times, I keep saying 30 days. 30 days was 5 days ago, so 25 days. We'll see if those tariffs come back. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for coming to another episode of the Hizzy Hustle, and we'll see you next time.